Welcome back to All4C Learning session 32. In this session, we are going to learn chemical properties of aryl halides. In previous session, we learned that which type of properties, chemical properties, alkyl halides and the aryl halides are going to show, and what are the differences in between these two. Means towards a nucleophilic substitution reaction, how alkyl halides are going to behave, how aryl halides are going to behave. Similarly, order of reactivity of alkyl iodides, alkyl bromides, chlorides, fluorides, and aryl fluorides, aryl chlorides, aryl bromides and aryl iodides towards nucleophilic substitution, and how presence of electron withdrawing group facilitate more attacking of the nucleophile. By attacking the nucleophile, how leaving groups are going to depart. That mechanism, in which case you are getting rate much faster, in which case rate is less, like why meta-nitrofluorobenzene is 1 lakh time less reactive than ortho and para nitrofluorobenzenes. So that all things we already learned. Para nitrofluorobenzene upon reaction with methoxide ion, it is very clear that methoxide ion, where it has to come and attack, we learn. So it comes straight away to the leaving group containing carbon. So it is very clear where leaving group is there the attacking or incoming nucleophile will come and attack. That the point was clear. Now, initially this nucleophile come and add to the benzene ring. Later, leaving group departed. Alright? So that means first addition followed by elimination. What is that? First addition followed by elimination. So, para nitrofluorobenzene proceeds mechanism addition followed by elimination. Okay, fine. Sir, chlorobenzene upon reaction with potassium amide, as we discussed in previous session, upon reaction with NH2 minus strong bases, okay, NH2 minus OH minus strong nucleophiles, in presence of that only that halogen displacement is possible. And when we are using ammonia, obviously we need to provide drastic conditions, means heat energy we need to provide, otherwise that substitution is not that much easy. That also we learned in the previous session, like a CCl is going to adopt double bond character, that bond will be strengthened, right? So all these. Now in this case what we are expecting, NH2 minus attacks. Now my question is, upon which carbon NH2 minus has to come and attack? So obviously what we are thinking, no sir, it's quite natural. What we learned in previous session, just like that this NH2 minus has to come and attach the leaving group containing carbon only. Okay, I accepted what you said. That means you are getting here product aniline or aminobenzene. So you are saying, as you are saying that NH2 minus has to come and attack directly to the leaving group containing carbon. Fine. Now what you are expecting, if the leaving group containing carbon is a C14 isotope. C14 isotope I used to mark with the asterisk. So in such a case what happened? Means we are expecting product as per your mechanism. What you said, that mechanism, NH2 minus has to come and attach the Cl containing carbon. Resultant we are getting this is the product, right or not? But practically our experimental results gives information a little different. That is, in addition to this one, here we are getting this product also. What is the difference? Here NH2 minus come and attack to the C14 isotope. Earlier it was attached to chlorine. Whereas in this case NH2 group is not attached to the C14 isotope, means where earlier chlorine was there. Instead of that, with respect to the C14, adjacent carbon NH2 come and attack. So why we are getting two products? Don't know. Come on. Here I used to consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, 6, 2, 6 dimethyl bromobenzene, 1 bromobenzene upon reaction with sodamide in liquid ammonia. So what we are expecting product? Here this methyl and this methyl blocked na? So ultimately we are getting only here, means this Br has to displace by NH2, right? So we are expecting that product. Okay, experimental results reveals that there is no reaction. So what we are expecting in first reaction means in previous section what we learned, that is addition followed by elimination. This one, which mechanism it proceeds? Addition followed by elimination mechanism. That mechanism is not going to take place with all these three remaining examples. So where leaving group is there, to that carbon only attacking nucleophile has to come and attack. That concept is wrong. It's not always true. That's true in case of ring consists any electron with drawing group only. In such case, addition followed by elimination mechanism proceeds, but not everywhere, right? Let's come here. Which mechanism these are all going to proceed, we'll learn. This one follows elimination followed by addition mechanism. Experimentally, whatever that products you are getting, for that evidence this mechanism will give. So here this type of reaction is what we call side substitution, CINE, side substitution reactions. Side substitution reactions are nothing but elimination followed by addition, means that heading gives clear information. There are two steps in the mechanism. First step is elimination and the second step again addition. So during this elimination followed by addition mechanism, the mechanism proceeds via formation of benzene. That is not benzene, benzene. So that benzene structure and everything we are going to discuss. Now have a look here what happened. So when we used to consider chlorobenzene, let us assume that the chlorine is attached to C14 isotope only, because here only we can distinguish why we are getting two products or how we are getting two products. If there is no C14 isotope, then we cannot find out that whether two or one product, that is right. So in order to find out that, I used to consider that C14 containing isotope containing compound only chlorobenzene. And upon reaction with NH2 minus, and basically NH3 has a basic character, its conjugate much more strong base, means base means weak acid. So weak acid conjugate is a strong base. So obviously NH2 minus is a much more strong base than OH minus even, right? So NH2 minus acts as a strong base. It prefers to abstract proton. From where it is going to abstract proton? It abstracts proton from the carbon which is adjacent to the leaving group containing carbon. So leaving group containing carbon, leaving group is Cl, leaving group containing carbon is C14 isotope, and with respect to the C14 isotope, adjacent carbon means either this hydrogen or this carbon containing hydrogen. Either of these two hydrogens is going to abstract by NH2 minus, right? Now this NH2 minus when abstracts that proton H plus, and it leaves a carbanion. It leaves a carbanion. And obviously this carbanion is highly unstable. Immediately that negative charge will go to dust carbon and this leaving group has to depart. Now we are getting what we call the benzene. So benzene, if you observe its structure, it looks like a benzene. In addition to that, actually benzene consists 3 pi bonds, but benzene consists, there is a 4th pi bond. That 4th pi bond, how you are getting? Means on what basis we can explain the formation of 4th pi bond? And is it really pi bond? Is it really pi bond? And is there any possibility to participate these pi electrons in delocalization? Nothing but that pi electrons, newly formed pi bonded electrons, are going to take part in delocalization or not? They are going to influence aromaticity or not? Really, if they are going to participate in delocalization, obviously this ring is going to lose aromaticity, because now they are not going to, it's not going to follow Hückel number of electrons like 4n plus 2 here. How many electrons? 4 pi bonds. If we consider 4 2s are 8 pi electrons are there. So 8 pi electrons is a 4n principle that gives the anti-aromaticity, that is highly unstable. So all these things are happened really? No. That newly formed pi bond is not like an ordinary pi bond. In general, pi bonds are formed because of pure orbitals overlapping in lateral or sideways, right? Means pure orbitals, like pure p orbitals, even they are going to overlap lateral or sidewise overlapping. So sidewise overlapping, because of sidewise overlapping, pi bond formation takes place. But here this bond is sp2, this electron is sp2 hybridized electron, means electron is located in sp2 hybrid orbital, and this one is again sp2 hybridized. So here the negative charge is located in the sp2 hybridized orbital. Now this negative charge is going to participate in bond formation with the next empty sp2 hybrid orbital, right or not? So by overlapping these two sp2 hybrid orbitals, you are getting that bond. So this one is not truly pi bond. This bond is not formed by overlapping of pure p orbitals. Instead of that, this bond is formed by overlapping of sp2 hybrid orbitals. So this pi bond is quite different from the remaining 3 pi bonds. That's first point. And the second point, because of the presence of this pi bond, benzene intermediate is a highly reactive. We cannot isolate this benzene intermediate. We cannot isolate. So benzene, that pi bond, newly formed pi bond, is not truly pi bond. That pi bond is not formed by pure p orbitals. Instead of that, that fourth pi bond is formed by hybrid orbitals. Which hybrid orbitals? sp2 hybrid orbitals. Now these sp2 orbitals overlapping, new bond formed, and the newly formed pi bond, because of sp2 hybrid orbitals, are not going to take part in delocalization. That means in this ring, delocalization, only these 3 pi bonds. That means only 6 pi electrons are involving in delocalization. That means ring retains its aromaticity. So benzene is a highly unreactive and benzene is aromatic. In benzene, newly formed bond is not formed by overlapping of pure p orbitals. In benzene, newly formed pi bond is formed by overlap of sp2 hybrid orbitals, right? Now after formation of this benzene, means so far benzene formation, this is a elimination reaction. Have a look there. H and Cl are eliminated. The base has to come and abstract the proton, that sigma 1 electrons are shifted towards leaving group containing carbon, and Cl has to depart as Cl minus. So this one is elimination. First step, elimination. And let's come to second step. Second step is addition. So to this benzene, now it is electron rich. To this benzene, NH2 minus means that what we are using a nucleophile, right? So this NH2 minus has to come and attack either of these 2 carbon atoms. Means one is C14 carbon, another one is regular C12 carbon. So this NH2 minus may come and attack either of these 2 carbon atoms. Resultant, you are getting 2 carbon ions, in which out of these 2, one which consists negative charge at C14 isotope, and other one negative charge is not at C14 isotope, and adjacent with respect to C14 isotope. That means if NH2 minus has to come and attach to this carbon, then obviously these electrons will be shifted. This carbon is going to be a negative charge. If this NH2 minus has to come and attack upon this carbon, these electrons will be shifted like this. Now negative charge appears at C14 carbon. Whatever the carbon ion, ultimately, if this carbon ion is going to abstract a proton from solvent, this carbon ion is going to abstract a proton from solvent. Which solvent we are using? Ammonia, liquid ammonia solvent. From this it is going to abstract a proton and leaves NH2 minus. So finally we are getting 2 products. So if you observe this mechanism, why we are getting 2 products? when we are considering C14 isotope if leaving group containing carbon. So this mechanism explains what's good. This mechanism what we call benzene mechanism, also called sign substitution. Now here it is very clear. In first step elimination, second step addition. During addition here carbanion is formed, and during elimination also carbanion is formed. That means intermediate here carbanion intermediate and benzene intermediate. Now here carbanion stability of carbanion ultimately depending upon presence of electron withdrawing group upon ring. Now I am going to consider benzene consists of G. G is which group? What happened if it is electron releasing group, and what happened if it is electron withdrawing group? So let us assume that if G is plus I, being plus I, electron flow how it will goes, which carbanion is more stable? I am saying that this carbanion is more stable. Means when Z is plus I means electron releasing group, there is a scope for NH2 minus, either it has to attack either this carbon or this carbon. Suppose if this NH2 minus attached to this carbon, these pi electrons will be shifted towards this carbon, which is nothing but ortho with respect to the G containing carbon, means electron releasing group containing carbon. Then being electron releasing group, it releases electrons, it destabilizes this carbanion. Remember that. It destabilizes carbanion. Instead of that, if this NH2 minus has to come and attack upon this carbon, then these electrons will be shifted like this. Here you are getting negative charge. In such a case, this carbon, negatively charged carbon or carbanion is nothing but a meta position with respect to electron releasing group. So meta position cannot be influenced, because being electron releasing, it can influence ortho and para, and moreover ortho position more influence, right or not? So if negative charge appears in ortho position, that is less stable. If negative charge appears in meta position, okay fine, that is more stable. That's why this intermediate formation takes place. Instead of that, if G is an electron withdrawing group, electron pulling group, in such a case, since it pulls electron towards itself, it can stabilize if any carbanion formation takes place in ortho and para position. At the same time, it cannot influence the negative charge which appears in meta position. That means if NH2 has to come and attack here, then these electrons will be shifted here negative charge. That negative charge cannot be stabilized by this electron withdrawing group, right? Instead of that, if NH2 has to come and attack upon this one, these pi electrons are shifted back towards group containing carbon. In such a case, negative charge appears in ortho position with respect to electron withdrawing group. Hence, electron withdrawing group can stabilize that negative charge. That's why this carbanion intermediate. Now, try to write the products here and mechanism here. I am going to consider orthochlorotoluene, orthochloronitrobenzene, orthochlorotoluene. Why we are getting this one is major and why we are getting this one is minor. Similarly, when we are considering orthochloronitrobenzene, here why we are considering minor product is this one and major product is meta product. So check out that. Similarly, para-bromotoluene upon treatment with NaNH2. Ortho-bromotoluene, you mentioned that two products. And in para case also two products you are getting. That try to write that what two products are there. So it is quite easy. Here benzene formation takes place here or here, anywhere, both are same. And ultimately NH2 minus may come and attack here, and NH2 minus may come and attack here. In this case, it's para product, and if it come and attack here, that will be meta product. But out of these two, which one is major? Then already I explained that if electron releasing group is there, which one carbanion is more stable. And if meta we consider meta-bromotoluene, NaNH2, you are going to get three products. Find out that three products. Which one you are getting major quantity. So here CH3Br. It may abstract either this hydrogen or this hydrogen. Now with respect to this methyl, here benzene formation takes place, here benzene formation takes place. There are two possibilities for benzene formation. From that two intermediates, ultimately you are getting four products. From each intermediate, two products you are getting. Out of the two, one product is common. That's why total number of products here 3. not 4. Check out that how. And fluorobenzene, when I am going to consider phenyl lithium, as we know that this one are what we call organometallic compounds. Organometallic compound specialty here, this carbon attached to metal direct, means the compound which consists metal carbon direct bond. Such compounds are called organometallic compounds. In case of organometallic compounds, negatively charged carbon formation takes place. That negatively charged carbon, what we are calling carbanion. That carbanion has to come and attach to which carbon? There are two possibilities. One means by abstracting this hydrogen, here benzene formation. After formation of that benzene, PH minus may come and attach to the same C14 isotope carbon or C12 isotope carbon. I means two products you are getting here. Try to write that two products. And I am going to give few more examples here. 1-bromo 2-fluorobenzene upon treatment with magnesium and tetrahydrofuran. So what product we are going to get? So as we learned that organometallic compounds right just now, compound which consists carbon metal bond, direct bond, such compounds are called organometallic compounds, right? Here, this one is just like aryl halide. Aryl halide upon reaction with magnesium metal, we are getting aryl magnesium halide. They are also considered as Grignard reagent. But your question is towards which one? Means with respect to bromine or with respect to fluorine? With respect to what is going to form Grignard reagent? So here magnesium going to form Grignard reagent. Here phenyl magnesium bromide and fluorine. See here, when this carbon is attached to metal, this metal bears positive charge and this carbon bears negative charge. And whenever this negative charge comes here, F is going to leave. Then we are getting product is a benzene plus MgBrF because of order of reactivity. Order of reactivity towards Grignard reagent is alkyl iodides rather than bromides rather than chlorides rather than fluorides. And in case of aryl halides also, aryl iodides rather than aryl bromides rather than aryl chlorides rather than aryl fluorides. So order of reactivity towards Grignard reagent formation order is remains same. And chlorobenzene upon treatment with sodium sodamide in liquid ammonia. Yes, in first step we are going to get a benzene, no doubt in that one. Still now we will learn that only. But in second step, the formed one has to react with cyclohexa 1,3 diene. This one upon treatment with cyclohexa 1,3 diene. Then this is nothing but a Diels-Alder reaction. One is diene, another one is dienophile. Benzene also behaves as diene, and this diene combined with dienophile. This one we are getting product here. This one benzene as such. Now there will be a new bond formation between these two carbon atoms and in between these two carbon atoms. And here resultant bond. This is the product. This reaction what we call Diels-Alder reaction. Okay. So we learn which type of mechanisms aryl halides are going to take part. Means first addition followed by elimination when NO2 group or any electron withdrawing groups are present in aryl halides, ortho and para position only, whereas elimination followed by addition upon reaction with liquid ammonia and sodamide or potassium amide. This one elimination followed by addition. Now these are all one type of properties. Now we are going to learn different type of properties and means quite named reactions which are shown by properties of aryl halides which are similar to alkyl halides and how they differ from alkyl halides. Now we are going to discuss. So let's come to general chemical properties of aryl halides. So those are typical properties that are already completed, like addition followed by elimination and elimination followed by addition. That mechanism is completed. Now typical properties. Generally we learned that alkyl halides alkyl halides can easily undergo nucleophilic substitution or nucleophilic displacement reactions. So by using strong nucleophile, obviously it can displace weak nucleophile. That concept is going to take place. But in case of aryl halides, in the beginning of chemical properties only we learned clearly, halogen attached carbon is going to maintain double bond character. Because of that one, CCl bond is going to not going to displace, means that means high bond energy required for breaking that. And moreover, vinyl and phenyl carbocations are highly unstable. SN1 is not possible, SN2 is not possible. So obviously any displacement reaction, only two types, either addition followed by elimination or elimination followed by addition. And you are very clear in which case addition followed by elimination and in which case elimination followed by addition. So here now chlorobenzene upon reaction with sodium methoxide. Generally this reaction do not take place under ordinary conditions because OCH3 minus cannot displace Cl minus. That's clear, right? So when OCH3 minus cannot displace Cl minus, OH minus cannot displace Cl minus upon reaction with sodium hydroxide. So in general, if it is RX, RCl plus OH minus aqueous base, obviously it leads to substitution. But in aryl halides that is difficult, that is very difficult. So how do you mention that it is very difficult? Actually, this reaction can take place only in presence of high temperature and pressure. Then what we call drastic conditions. Under drastic conditions only this reaction proceeds. Under drastic conditions only this reaction proceeds. So this process named as Dow process, preparation of phenol from chlorobenzene. Chlorobenzene upon reaction with aqueous sodium hydroxide in presence of high temperature 400 degrees Celsius and high pressure, we are getting sodium phenoxide. Because of formed phenol is acidic in nature, obviously sodium hydroxide is a base. So phenol reacts with the base and converts into salt. That salt is sodium phenoxide. This sodium phenoxide upon acidification we are getting phenol. So first method, replacement or displacement of Cl by OH. Generally for alkyl halides we can easily perform the reaction by using aqueous base. Here also we are using aqueous base for aryl halides, but not takes place that much easily. We need to provide drastic conditions. Now chlorobenzene upon treatment with sodium methoxide, compared to OH minus OCH3 minus is strong base. Of course we need to provide drastic conditions. And salts also, copper salts preferably, cuprous salts, copper plus 1 oxidation state containing salts preferably we are using. They helps a lot for removal of that leaving group, and further it promotes attacking of nucleophile. So we are getting methoxybenzene or methyl phenyl ether, also enizole. Also it is called enizole. So when we are using OH minus, you are getting C6H5OH. When we are using OCH3 minus, we are getting C6H5OCH3 ether. And iodobenzene upon treatment with ethyl alcohol in presence of nickel tetracyanide, NiCN taken 4 and heat. This cyano complexes catalyst reactions are quite different and typical. Here what happened? Initially I minus is going to displace by Cn. That Cn, further hydrolysis you are getting carboxylic acid. That carboxylic acid upon reaction with alcohol we are getting, yes sir, I am repeating. First iodobenzene upon reaction with tetracyanonickel, what happened? Cyanobenzene upon hydrolysis we are getting cyanides upon hydrolysis we learned. Cyanides upon hydrolysis we are getting carboxylic acid. Upon partial hydrolysis we are getting amides. Partial hydrolysis we are getting amides, right? And complete hydrolysis we are getting carboxylic acid. Benzoic acid upon reaction with ethyl alcohol, ethyl benzoate. This is an ester. Ethyl benzoate is an ester. Next, replacement by amino group. Just now we discussed that chlorobenzene upon reaction with potassium amide in liquid ammonia. So here elimination followed by addition mechanism. We are getting aminobenzene. Beyond of this, one more method is that instead of using this elimination followed by addition mechanism, we can also use the copper salts mechanism. And in case of cuprous oxide and ammonia, chlorobenzene, 2 moles of chlorobenzene upon reaction with 2 moles of ammonia in presence of cuprous oxide, this cuprous oxide still remains as cuprous chloride. Here +1 oxidation state, here also +1 oxidation state. That Cl displaced by NH2 group of ammonia, and we are getting H2 and Cu2Cl2. So here in this reaction there are two methods. One is direct elimination followed by addition. There Cl displaced by NH2 minus, and beyond of that another method by using copper salts, Cu+1 salts, cuprous salts. And when we are using cuprous salts, obviously you are getting aminobenzene or aniline, but there only Cu2Cl2 are byproducts, means here copper oxidation number is not going to change, it still remains as such. That means this is not an example for any redox reaction. There is no change in the oxidation state, right? Now replacement by CN group, as we discussed, Cl can be easily displaced by Cn when we are using cuprous cyanide. So from all these reactions it is very clear, when we are using cuprous salts, the displacement of Cl will be easy by using any other nucleophile like Cn or NaH2 minus or here OC2H5 minus, whatever it may be, you can easily displace. And once by performing this reaction in presence of cuprous cyanide, you are getting cyanobenzene, also called benzene carbonitrile. This one upon reduction you are getting a benzylamine. This one upon reduction we are getting a benzylamine, pH, CH2, NH2, and this one upon hydrolysis, partial hydrolysis, you are getting a benzamide, pH C double bond by NH2. Upon complete hydrolysis, we are getting benzoic acid. Along with that, the cuprous chloride, again here +1 oxidation state, but this reaction performs in presence of weak base pyridine or dimethyl formamide. This acts as a weak basic solvent. In presence of weak base solvent, here Cl minus can be removed. This is the concept here in chemical properties. Now, so far we discussed that what type of reactions, chemical properties around halides can show, and normally how many types of displacement. First one is addition followed by elimination, second one is elimination followed by addition, and third one is in presence of copper salts, how the reaction is going to proceed.